All my fellow podcasters and talking shit listeners, we are back with episode, is it 8 or 9?
9.
Episode 9. Man, they're flying by fast, I tell you. And it's
That's 2 months. And like it's over 2 months that we've been doing this, which is crazy.
yeah, and we're getting a lot of followers, getting a lot of feedback, and we want to give a big shout out to everyone that is subscribing, that is liking, and that is promoting our new podcast.
Yeah, you know what? Because remember the other day, it was last week. You're like, my goal is to get to 300 by the end of the month, and I sat down and I did some business, and you sat down and you did some business, and we're already at like 325.
That's right. So thank you again.
Thank you
again.
Yeah.
And today, episode 9, we are going to tackle a more serious topic, but I'm sure we'll find some way to make some type of light out of it.
Yeah, it's you and me, so usually we do.
Yeah, we tend to we tend to go off the rails a little bit. Sorry about that. I thought I muted my phone, but I guess I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't. But I wanted to actually talk about the coronavirus. Ooh, because my co-host Tobi actually just left China.
Like, unbeknownst to me, this was happening, right? And it just came out. That doctor that just died from it, I guess they were hushing him up, right?
Right.
And so, I guess, when I was there, I left on January 1st. When I was there, it was happening. But no one, it wasn't a thing. No one knew anything about it.
Right.
And it's only been in the past month where it's just, literally blown up. And I'm just going to offer my perspective about what's happening over there from what I can tell, because I still have my ex-husband who lives there. All my friends still live and work there. And also I know a little bit about how the Chinese government works.
Right. So you have not only do you have firsthand knowledge of how the Chinese government works, but you also have, like you said, you have friends and you still have ties to this place, man. And I've been, since the coronavirus has hit the mainstream, rather, I've been hearing and doing research about it as well, and it's surprisingly it's taken a large toll, man, and it could also end up damaging America's economy as well as the Chinese economy.
I guess if everyone in the world gets stuff from China, and we'll maybe get into this, but factories, stores, schools, everything's been closed.
Right.
Mandatory closure. And I just told you this today. Oh, it spiked. I'm sorry.
You're coughing. You better not have the fucking.
Okay.
You better not have it.
That's the 100th time somebody said that to me. That joke is now old. Oh, Tobi.
It's not a fucking joke. It's not a joke. Don't cough on me, man. I'm still precious over here. Goddammit.
You're precious. You are precious. Anyway, yeah, because I talked to Ian, that's my ex-husband. I talked to him, and he went to a couple stores where he knows the people. And some of them have a little English. And they just said, yeah, they've been told by the government that they have to stay shut to the end of the month, at least. And the order does say, minimum. And the woman that he spoke to yesterday said, everyone is preparing for the worst. Everyone is assuming that it will go into March, the mandatory closures.
Well, actually, I can attest to that, because today I've heard a report that it can even be as far as April on
what?
Yes, on some businesses. I listened to this YouTuber, and it's called the Silver Report, and he touches a lot on economics and financial different types of financial advice, and he keeps up with the stock market. And China's getting ready to close a lot of stores, like Ralph Lauren. The China edition is getting ready to shut down, and
that's a whole nother because of this.
Yeah, because of this.
Because of this.
Because of it. Yeah.
Because like American companies
because the
have
workers
been pulling out of China for a long time anyway.
And see, this is what I was listening to. They're also starting to these different companies like Ralph Lauren, and I forgot the name. I'll pull it up here in a second. They're starting to look to build factories in other countries because they're starting to have to shut down their Chinese-based stores because of this whole coronavirus thing. And keep in mind that China is the second largest economy in the world, and we do get a lot of our different products from China. And if these people are not working in these factories and not building these things, like, where are we going to get our product from?
No shit.
Because there was a big scare on the AirPod things that they've.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you remember?
Yeah, what was that about? Say it again.
Well,
tell them what was.
Well, they can't make any new AirPods because the factories are closed down. Like, these people over here are not working, and most of them have already been shipped out and they've been bought up already. So it's going to be kind of hard to get some.
So there's going to be a worldwide shortage of AirPods.
Yeah, there's going to be a worldwide shortage of AirPods,
no.
and I'm kind of pissed at that because my left side of my AirPod is going out. I don't know what the hell is wrong with it, and damn it, I'm going to need a new one here soon, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to go run and get that due to the shutdown.
And it's funny to like think about like those impacts, right? Like just how an illness can affect everyone globally, like on an economic level. Like that's wild to me.
This is scary.
Yeah. So so like Mr. X said, I still have friends and ties and relationships to people in China, and a lot of those relationships are my students. So I was a high school teacher there, and I'm still friends with them on the Chinese Facebook. It's called WeChat. And so they'll post things from, in quotes, the inside. But I still have a lot of students that are woke. Like, they have VPNs, they have Google, so they see the outside.
What is woke?
They're not typical Chinese. Like, they're not drinking the Kool-Aid from the Chinese government.
Right.
They have gone out of their way without their parents' permission to get Google, to get Wikipedia, all of these things that are illegal to them, because they want the real information.
And a lot of people, just for the record, you can say this, I just want to make sure, because a lot of people, I myself, until a few months, didn't know that. So over in China, you're not allowed to have what exactly?
You want me to list it?
Well, yeah, just give
anything
us a short
Google.
list.
Anything Google. So like Google Maps, Google Translate, Google itself. So any app that has Google a part of it,
and the average revenue
that has Google a part of it, that's illegal. Anything that has Facebook a part of it. So like sometimes when you go to log into a website and it says log in with Facebook,
right?
That website will be illegal.
Whoa.
So they make it impossible for any normal average Chinese citizen to get information from the outside world. And that's just one of the aspects of the oppression that the Chinese people deal with, is they literally have no way to get the real story, because then the government controls the media, and the government will put out, everything's fine. This virus isn't killing people. Be happy. And the people will just drink the Kool-Aid. Right.
Well, so you're saying that the government is in total control.
Absolute
in China.
Total control.
When we get into the etymology of the word govern, it actually means to control, and mind is an ancient Latin word which it means mensia. So literally the word government means mind control. Mind control.
And China loves that shit.
That's exactly what they're doing. And you know what? It's a little bit, I wouldn't say a little bit, I'll even just go on the record and say a lot of that shit happens in here in America too, because you get labeled as conspiracy theorist or crazy or spook or whatever for thinking outside the box and asking questions, And to me, and not just to me, but a few other people, this whole coronavirus has biological warfare written all over it.
It's really frightening to think that this was intentional, but who does this benefit? Like China going down economically?
It could benefit a lot of different. If anyone that keeps up with economics or or global hegemonies, it could, a lot of people could benefit from China going down. I mean, I could think of one place that's getting hit with sanctions and tariffs from China that could benefit from them going down, but
you're not saying that outright right now.
I'm not saying that outright right now.
You're anonymous. They can't even catch up with you.
Oh well, I think I'm about to. I'm not anonymous. Like if they want to fucking find who I am and catch me, there's nothing I can do, and I really don't care. Anyways, do your worst. So it's gonna be what it's gonna be.
Okay, so yeah, America can benefit from China suffering economically.
Absolutely, but at the same time, we have to be careful because China not being able to deliver it to its other countries can also put the squeeze on us, which I don't understand at all. But my whole thing is, first, it came from, supposedly the coronavirus came from bats, and then there was this other type of armadillo type creature that it's supposed to come from.
Yeah.
But I don't understand it because even though, and you've been in China and probably know much more about the culture than I do, but the little bit of history of their culture that I do know, I know that they've always been eating bats and rats and frogs and dogs and all this other shit. And so why hasn't the coronavirus been around forever? Because apparently this new animal that they found, and I forgot the name, it was terrible research on my part, and I just heard it last week. I didn't bring it to the table. But supposedly this animal can carry the coronavirus, but it doesn't affect it. And they've been eating it for hundreds of years. So my thing is like, why now is this coronavirus just starting now to suddenly affect the people?
Right.
And I mean, and it's asymptomatic, and just like and I remember they were saying they were using the HIV type virus to help treat it. And we all know that we all should know that HIV is also another biological and man-made bio disease as well. Like that's been out in the open. Project Naomi, like some of the people that are into this thing should know about this, but yeah.
That's another topic for another day.
That is it another topic for another day?
Well, that's very interesting. But so I have two things to say. So one, the meat market where this bat came from, the Chinese eat all kind of shit. Like, remember that video I showed you yesterday with the frog?
Oh, man.
The guy grabbed a live frog and just, like, ripped it apart with his teeth in his hands live. And it's just like, oh, and how about the pictures I took of the dog?
Of the dogs.
The dogs, like, just strung up, and I'm seeing this firsthand, obviously, and had a panic attack. But anyway, I have a friend that defends them in that, and they're like, they're poor. If you're poor and you're hungry, what are you going to eat?
And not a dog, I can tell you that.
Not a dog.
Not a fucking dog. I can eat
not
lettuce.
Fucking bats.
Or spinach, kale, strawberries.
I know.
I can steal fruit. I can steal a burger.
Yeah.
I can eat anything, literally, you could probably find anything but a dog.
Yeah. So, 100%, they are very used to eating, in quotes, exotic food. And in fact, they seek out an exotic food. In Thailand, I've told you this before, Bangkok is like 100% my favorite city.
Who's cock?
Fuck off.
Okay.
Bangkok. And one of the biggest industries there is shark fin soup.
What?
The Chinese go to Bangkok to have shark fin soup.
Who's cock?
Okay, you've never heard that city before? Like, come on, this isn't the first time.
I have.
This isn't the first time.
X is being immature. What else is new?
Grow up. Anyway.
Doubtful.
The city is full of shark fin soup restaurants.
From Bangkok.
Yep.
Right.
And Chinese go there and they eat that because it apparently makes your dick big. Like, seriously, it's 100%. Like, you.
So let me get this right. Going to Bangkok, eating shark fin soup makes your cock big. And you can attest to this.
Oh yeah, I've seen the evidence. Wow, that was really Canadian what I just said. But that's why the rhino is extinct. The rhino is extinct 100% because of Chinese people. Because they take the rhino horn, they grind it up, and the guys eat it to make their dick bigger. The rhino industry is 100% Chinese driven. Why are you looking at me like this?
Like I have no words right now. I don't.
Like so.
I don't. We might have to pause the whole goddamn podcast. But like I, really.
Yes, really. It's we Fiona. We literally, they literally caused the extinction of an entire species because they want bigger dicks.
With the Chinese or
The Chinese.
men in general? You
No,
mean?
the Chinese. They want your BBC, Mr. X.
Oh,
like,
man.
So, and all of these shark species too, because they don't eat the shark meat. They just grab the sharks, cut the fin off, and throw the bodies in the water.
Just like, what?
Yes.
That is insane.
You need to look that up.
I would definitely look that up now.
I'm teaching you something today. Okay, mark this day down. It is February 11th, 2020. I just taught Mr. X something.
I mean, I don't know why she's bullshitting. I always told her that and clearly everyone knows that she's a smart lady, but
anyway.
She just chooses not to utilize her smartness. See what I mean?
Yeah, see. Anyway, yeah, they eat disgusting things, and I'm not saying this is their payback, but they eat disgusting things.
Well, I think, never mind. We won't go
there. Okay, so I was talking about my woke student, and this student in particular, she loves finding out about what the Chinese government hides. And she'll go on the internet and she'll talk to us teachers, and we're actually not allowed to tell her anything. If the government found out that we were telling her the truth about China, we would be deported. But anyway, so she posted this thing that's a press release.
Well, I remember that one time that you were FaceTiming your friend, and I said the word weed, and your friend told me to hush because they're always fucking monitoring.
And you know my friend, she's not like a paranoid type of person.
No, not at all.
No.
But she was dead serious.
Because our colleague got deported
for finding weed in the system.
Yes.
Didn't catch it on him.
Nope.
But they found it in his system.
From a hair sample.
And hair, mind you, that hair samples go back to 7 years almost? So he could have smoked it at any fucking time.
Like over the summer when he was in Canada where it's legal. But anyway, that's not, so... The government is always monitoring this. And so I have this piece of propaganda, and I use the word propaganda very specifically because you and I and any American and Westerner, basically, we know what propaganda is, right?
Yeah.
But it's so funny. When I moved to China, I was in charge of our student council. It was a major organization at the school, and we had to put out a lot of flyers for our events. And the kids would say, okay, so who's doing the propaganda on this event? I'm like, wait, what do you mean propaganda? I'm like, the flyers that tell people what it is. I'm like, that's not propaganda. That's a poster. And they're like, yeah, propaganda. And I found out later that that's actually the word for an advertisement or a notice. That's the word, is propaganda, which means what we think it means. But they don't have any other word because they are so used to their government only putting out things propaganda to sway people. They're not used to reading things that are truth.
Well,
think about that. There's no other word for advertising other than propaganda.
Propaganda. Wow. I mean, the thing to me, what only sounds like the difference between our government and the Chinese government is that they seem to have much more of a hold on their people, whereas our government has a hold on our people, but they don't know that they're being held back.
Right.
That's the difference. The Chinese, the Chinese seem like they kind of have an idea of they're being held back, but our people, you tell them some shit, I don't believe it's just flat enough. It's a conspiracy theory.
Or this is what the government said, so it must be true.
It must be true. Yeah, and
it was in the news, so.
Yeah, and that's another thing. The news is I can't watch it.
No,
I can.
I bet you can't.
I get to.
You would dissect it. You'd be like, nope.
I'll look at the weather, and sometimes that's not even fucking accurate. So
weather pisses you off
because it's not true. We're waiting for snow here, and we haven't fucking gotten it yet. All right, I'm ready for a snow day.
I did,
Well, I didn't. I want no.
Didn't.
I want real snow.
Oh,
Like
snowman snow.
we're not going to work today because it's shit on the ground snow.
Oh, okay.
That's real snow.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but I wanted to just read a little bit of this article, and it won't be long. And again, like we don't know if if China's being demonized behind this whole thing. We don't know exactly what's real. We may never know the full truth of behind the goddamn coronavirus. But it says billionaire whistleblower Wuhan coronavirus death toll is over 50,000. Which, and to me, I could see that being true because I'm hearing reports. Last week it was what? It went from 11 million being quarantined to 21 million being quarantined. So I'm hearing now almost like 4 million or 400 million being quarantined, like whole cities. So, and if there was only like, I don't know, like even 800 people out of 400 million dying, you think that's enough to shut down major cities for people to be quarantined versus 500 or 50,000 people dying? And that's kind of a more reason to shut down the whole city because your husband or your ex-husband sent you pictures of them with martial law style military checkpoints in apartment complexes and on major freeways.
Yeah, at the end of the road, there's a checkpoint, and you have to show your ID and get your temperature taken. What
happens if you don't have ID?
I don't know.
Because I watch, and now I granted that they're a little bit of a fearmonger, but most of the time they seem to be true. It's called AMTV, and from the most part, they're pretty accurate. They're pretty accurate on the news they report, and they're saying that they were that they were pulling people off the streets, hauling them into what is called quarantine hospitals.
Wow.
And that if they were to speak on the coronavirus, that it was a automatic death sentence.
To speak about it.
And I mean, given with your facts, what you say about and what you know about the Chinese government, like again, like we have to question everything, even the shit that they put out, because again, this could be presented towards us to demonize the Chinese, because let's not bullshit each other. There was a tariff war going on between America and China, and then like suddenly the people who's hitting you with all these tariffs and threatening each other and all that, suddenly they have like this literally nation shut down virus. Like, I think that's kind of fucking crazy. I think that's crazy.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned those numbers. Well, and even what you said to me earlier today, like, would they shut down a country? And it's not even that number that you said about being quarantined. Airlines have stopped travel.
Right.
You can't get in and out of China. They've quarantined the whole country basically. And would they do that for like 1,000 people?
1,000 people dying? Like, yeah.
Like, really? And so this piece of, in quotes, propaganda that my student posted on her wall, the man is comparing it to H1N1, the swine flu that happened in 2009. Yes, 2009. And I guess 18,400 people died from H1N1.
That didn't get reported?
No, that just died. They just died.
Well, I'm saying I don't remember hearing about that many people dying from that.
In China? Well, I mean, did you back then? Did you pay attention to how many Chinese died from the swine flu?
Well, I was paying attention to different shit back then. Like, so I was.
Oh, you were always so smart.
So you're being an ass right now. So.
Anyway, that's the number that was reported. Did they shut China down? Did air travel to China shut down? Did businesses shut down?
Air travel did hold for a minute, right?
I thought that was with SARS.
SARS, okay, then that's what I'm thinking. Okay.
Yeah. So he's saying that like swine flu, according to, or H1N1, a lot of people died from this, and right now only like 1,000 are being reported as dead, and they're shutting the country down.
They're shutting the country down.
You got to think about that.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah. But then in the same article, he's saying that people are accusing the Chinese from hiding the real numbers. And he's like, this isn't a conspiracy. This is just a tragedy. this is a very well written piece of propaganda because it goes on to say that if you're reading this and if you're a foreigner, that you should stay in China because it's one of the safest places to be because they know how to deal with the virus and they have treatment centers and you should remain calm and that will help you beat the virus by staying in China. Peace and love, the end.
Well, if that's the case, why are they locking motherfuckers from going into the country if it's the safest
And why
place?
do they just have a mandatory deportation of all foreigners from Wuhan?
So basically, yeah, and actually one of the the first American died, I want to say, from that.
Oh, really?
But they died over in China.
Oh.
Yeah, they actually, I want to say it was Friday night or Saturday night that the first non-Chinese person died from there.
Wow.
From the virus. But again, my whole thing is, like you were saying, if it's X amount of people, why are they locking cities down or the whole country down? And it's starting to trickle down over here into America because like everywhere we go in America, there's a Chinatown. And now it's starting to affect because they can't get their shipments for their products in and their supplies and all this other shit. We're seeing a decrease in the Chinatown economy, if you will, and a lot of people are just staying away from it totally because it's been dubbed that everything is coming from China, and the coronavirus could impact this way because apparently one of the Chinese doctors said that this shit is able to survive on the surface up to 9 days.
Oh,
and then people are testing positive that aren't showing any symptoms.
Right.
And again, man, like this just has a weird feeling to me. I'm going with biological weapon.
But I also sense there's this like panic that's been created because it does mention in this piece of propaganda that like people, he's condemning people who call it the China virus. I mean, doesn't everyone call it that? Oh, that virus from China? Yeah, the coronavirus. But anyway, I have a couple Chinese students over here, and I have a Korean student who looks Chinese, but she's dating a Chinese, and they go to university.
Same shit.
Really? Anyway. She has posted on Facebook a number of times about the prejudice that she's dealing with as a Chinese university student over here in America.
Really? I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah.
One ethnic group being singled out, and
isn't that so sad?
That is
like,
terrible.
Can you imagine what that's like to deal with?
I couldn't imagine what that's like to deal with
I don't
at
think
all.
So. You're very privileged.
Oh my goodness.
So they're experiencing real just I don't know if it's fear mongering. Like I don't know if it's real. We don't know what it is over here yet, but the Chinese over here. Like are dealing with the fear.
Right, they are.
Like Americans are afraid of the Chinese right now.
They
My son sent me a video of a Chinese guy on the subway, and he was at one end of the subway, and everyone else was crowded on the other end.
Wow.
Yeah, like it went viral.
Wow.
Yeah.
You Chinese are the new niggas.
That's funny.
Oh man, I heard someone else say it. I can't take credit for that.
I was just gonna say you should make that into a meme.
I can't. No, I dare not. I dare not make that into a meme. I posted. You seen the post that I posted on the IG of all the princesses and
yes,
Mulan, and I posted that on my Facebook, on my personal Facebook, and my friend who's with this whole peace and love doctrine in his goddamn mind was like, "Oh, to all my Asian friends, I won't make fun of your culture behind the virus and blah blah blah, this and that."
Yeah. Totally
taking a shot at me.
Yeah.
And I replied back like, "Dude, like the Asians and Chinese, they don't like your black ass either, bro. Like you're friends with some over here, but over there, they're just as racist as the fucking so-called white man are, man.
More.
Probably, even more. So like,
they hate black people. There.
See, but that's another story for another time. So I just wanted to dive into that. I dare not post any more memes. I've been in Facebook jail so many fucking times, like it's ridiculous. So yeah.
All right. Well, what's your prediction for the coronavirus? We're just gonna wrap up here. We're approaching the half an hour mark.
I've actually had mixed feelings from this. I'll just go with what's on my mind right now. I actually think that this shit could be very, very bad. And when it comes to America, because it looks like that's what's going to happen, it's going to be very, very bad for this place. Very bad for this place. Like I say, they're already under martial law over there in China, and I don't know. But do Chinese people have firearms? Or they don't? They're not. Yeah,
there are no weapons there.
See, and it's different over here. All right, motherfuckers have guns and everything else over here. So when you're telling the person, hey, you can't move here or you can't go here, and they have guns and shit to back them up, it's gonna move a little different.
Yeah.
So we talk about different stuff outside the podcast, and I just think that this could get real serious. I just really think this could get really serious. So
I have a different perspective.
All right.
Americans and Canadians and Western people generally have good health. We generally know how to wash our hands and safeguard ourselves against the cold and whatever. Like, I actually don't know.
And you say that after we've had more deaths from the flu this year than...
That's true.
Then I don't know when.
But, I mean, it seems like the Chinese are dropping like flies. They do not... Like, you can't buy hand sanitizer there.
Well, hand sanitizer doesn't really work that well.
But it's something. Like, the teachers, we have to buy soap to put in the bathrooms because the kids don't wash their hands.
Well, that's what soap works better than sanitizer.
Well, either. Pick one. They don't use it.
Wow.
So I don't know if this is spreading because of like the habits of their culture. Like if they did wear masks all the time, if they did wash their hands all the time, I don't know how quickly it would have spread.
But they wore masks most of the time because of the smog and all that other shit, right?
Not everyone did, no. And also their diet, like the poor people, their diet is poor.
I've never seen a fat Chinese person before.
But they don't eat a lot. That's why. They don't have money for food.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're like health-wise, their immune systems aren't very good. So I don't know. I don't know if we would be able to fight it. I don't know if we have a fighting chance if it comes over here, just because we are healthier. But I don't know.
We'll see.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, if we come back next week, then that means we're probably safe for one more week.
If we wake up dead, we'll know that we weren't healthy enough to survive.
Yeah, sucks.
Yeah.
I could take a Corona, not the virus, but a Corona.
I don't have any Corona. I just have these margarita tequila thingies that we're drinking.
Close enough.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Mr. X, for your perspective.
Hey. Konnichiwa, bitches. Too soon? Too soon?
Do you want to know how to say goodbye in Chinese?
Nope, I thought that was it.
That's Japanese.
Same shit.
It is not the same shit. It's a totally
same shit.
Zaijian, motherfuckers.
Zaijian, motherfucker.
There you go.
All right, so thanks for tuning into our podcast. You can catch us on many other platforms.
Like YouTube, we're Talking Stuff podcast because you can't swear, right? So
right.
It's Talking Stuff. Twitter is Talking Shit too. I didn't get it quick enough. Spotify, Talk, quote, quote, shit. Podbean, Talk, shit. And Instagram, at Talk, _, shit. And remember to press that subscribe button. And we'd really appreciate it if you left us a comment too. So have a good day.
Later.